My absolute pleasure to welcome everybody tonight to our first annual Link Community Development USA benefit. My name is Judd Holzman and I'm Executive Director of Link Community Development USA. And I want to thank you all for coming. This is a momentous and special night for us, and I hope you all can hear me. I'll talk a little louder. You know, we've started, Link Community Development USA has been kind of in the works for several years now. We actually started it as a student group down at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign 6 years ago. And I met my wife starting the group at the time, so I'm very thankful to Link in many ways. And you know, at that time we knew that Link was special, and we knew we wanted to keep it going. And we spent the last few years, you know, building the organization up here in Chicago, and now 6 years later, we have our U.S. headquarters right here in Chicago, just down the street on Superior. And here we are standing with 160 people at our first annual benefit. So if you have a glass in your hand, I would like to, and if you don't, I apologize, but if you have a glass in your hand, please raise your glass for a toast to Link Community Development USA, to great success, and to 100 more annual benefits to come. So we just want to take a quick few minutes and kind of go over a few different remarks so you can hear from some of the organization's leadership. We don't want to talk too long because we don't want to bore you, and nor do we want to keep you away from the food and the alcohol and the wine. But I want to start with just giving you some background about Link, and I want to talk about our work in Africa and also then what we're doing now here in the U.S. Link Community Development was founded in 1989 in England in a partnership with South Africa to promote black education in South Africa, right at the height of the apartheid. And since 1989, we've expanded to 5 countries now in Africa. That's Ethiopia, Ghana, Malawi, Uganda, and South Africa. And we're now in England, Scotland, and Ireland, and now, of course, here in the U.S. Our mission is to improve access to quality education for children in Africa. We are working right now with over 3,000 schools in sub-Saharan Africa. And before I get into kind of the details behind our approach and our strategies, I just want to kind of contextualize the situation we're dealing with in Africa. Over 46 million children in Africa do not go to school. And those that are lucky enough to go to school, only 40% actually make it to the 5th grade. Let alone that schools are dealing with issues around teachers and ill-equipped classrooms and principals that are having difficulty managing their schools. So the questions are, how do you deal with this? How do you improve education in these schools? And how do we transform education so that children can lead better lives? These are the types of issues we are working with every day across Africa. And our approach is to work closely with government to improve their capacity to deliver quality education. We believe that effective government is the solution to improving education on a wide scale across the continent. Now, we don't really necessarily see ourselves as just a charity. We see ourselves also as a movement to empower education stakeholders across Africa to improve the quality of education being delivered. We train, we consult, we advise, we assist, we plan, and we inspire. We also work with education stakeholders across the spectrum: teachers, principals, district directors, parents, community members, and National Department of Education officials. Now, I just want to touch upon a few of our core kind of strategies and tools that we use to do this work. The first one is called School Performance Review. It's a tool for assessing individual school performance and then using that data to inform long-term school improvement planning. We also have something called a whole district model, where we'll work with schools in a district and work with that district director to improve schools in the entire district. Now in Africa, a district will have 100 to 200 schools. So it's a little different than what we know here in the States. We also do work with parents where we create PTAs to encourage parental and community involvement in school life. And we have a large focus on HIV and AIDS education. We use schools as mini rural health centers for the promotion of HIV and AIDS and health. Now a few examples of our HIV and AIDS work are we place social workers in our rural schools to reach out to orphans and vulnerable children in the school community so that we can connect them to government services and antiretroviral drugs. We train teachers on how to teach HIV and AIDS in the classroom. We create action committees consisting of parents and community leaders. And we just completed a partnership with the South African government to develop HIV and AIDS school planning guides for over 25,000 schools in South Africa. So we are now launched here in the U.S. And what are we here to do? We are here to really build a movement across the country, and especially in Chicago, to get support for our programs in Africa, to host exciting events that raise awareness on African and global poverty issues, and to link schools in the U.S. to schools in Africa. This program is called the Link Schools program, and we have over 450 pairs of schools in Europe, Africa, and the U.S. that are currently linked. It really reflects the concept of Ubuntu, the African proverb that emphasizes building interconnectedness and unity among people. And we are excited to have launched that program this past year here in Chicago. We have 6 schools that are now linked to schools in Ghana, and they are Bernard Zell Anshiamet Day School, Highland Park High School, Lyons Township High School, Newcher High School, Skokie School, and Spry School in Little Village. And thank you to the teachers who are in attendance tonight. Thank you. In this program, students exchange art materials, letters, and even phone calls. And in some cases, especially with our British schools that have been linked for close to 10 years, they actually are able to set up reciprocal visits. And they talk about each other's art, community, culture, and history. And we are poised at this point to expand this program to schools across the Chicago area in the coming years. And before I end in my remarks, I want to thank a lot of people for really making tonight happen, and really such a special night. First, I'd like to thank our honorary chairs for this evening, Paul Carman and Irene Pritzker. I'd like to thank our host committee, our dedicated planning committee, our volunteers, our unbelievable interns, Cindy Evans and Linda Liu. They're probably running around somewhere working hard, so thank you so much. I'd like to thank Alicia Goldman for designing the beautiful programs and invitations and materials. And I'd also like to recognize in attendance our Board of Directors, Ernest Chariot, our Chairman of the Board of Directors. Lindsay Barron, also a board member. Steve Blunden, who's also the CEO of LCD International, coming all the way from South Africa. And I'd also like to recognize our distinguished guests from the South African Consulate General of Chicago, Charles Manuel and Diego Maltame. And I'd like to recognize our distinguished guest from the Ghana National Council of Chicago, John Henry. So I want to close my remarks, and before I hand off the mic, to really say we're building a movement here in the U.S. This is serious, guys. We are building a movement to improve education across Africa. Please join our movement. Let tonight be the beginning of your experience with LINK, And our movement will only be as good as its members. So please stay with us in the coming years. And I want to end quickly with some words that Nelson Mandela said. I dream of an Africa at peace with itself. Let's join Mandela in his dream. Let's dream that we can reach every school, every district, and every country in Africa. Let's dream that we can make an incredible impact on education across the continent. I know it can be done. We just must have hope. So thank you very much. And I want to introduce now... So I want to introduce now our dedicated and tireless Chairman of the Board of Directors, Ernest Thériault.